Have you ever wondered how two leaders facing similar challenges can adopt such contrasting approaches? Africa's fight against abductions, armed criminal activities, and organized violence is a pressing concern. In Kenya, these issues have grown increasingly dire, while Burkina Faso has taken bold steps to tackle them head-on. What makes the difference? Why are some nations succeeding where others struggle? Today, we'll explore how Captain Ibrahim Traoré's decisive leadership is setting an example for Africa, contrasting sharply with the strategies of Kenya's President William Ruto. Stay tuned as we uncover lessons that could reshape Africa's fight against crime. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the African Web and hit the bell icon to stay informed about Africa's transformative leaders. Captain Ibrahim Traoré assumed leadership of Burkina Faso in September 2022 following a military coup that sought to address the escalating insecurity and governance issues plaguing the nation. From the very start, Traoré positioned himself as a man of action, pledging to prioritize the safety and well-being of his people above all else. His leadership style was characterized by decisive moves and a clear focus on reforms that directly addressed the root causes of Burkina Faso's challenges. On the other hand, President William Ruto took office in Kenya in September 2022 after a highly contested election. Ruto's campaign promised a bottom-up economic model aimed at uplifting ordinary Kenyans. However, his presidency began amid significant economic challenges, growing public debt, and increasing insecurity. Critics argue that his administration has struggled to deliver on its promises, particularly in addressing the rising wave of abductions and violent crimes. Doesn't this contrast in leadership approaches highlight the importance of aligning promises with swift action? Kenya has witnessed an alarming rise in abductions and violent crimes, creating a wave of fear across its regions. Families are left heartbroken as loved ones are taken, with many cases going unresolved. The issue extends beyond individual crimes. It reflects systemic challenges. The lack of coordination among security forces often results in delayed responses, allowing criminals to act with impunity. Citizens question whether the state is doing enough to protect them. President William Ruto, despite promises of change, has struggled to implement effective reforms. Critics argue that his administration has failed to prioritize security as a top agenda. Reactive measures, rather than preemptive strategies, have become the norm, leaving many questioning whether Kenya's leadership truly grasps the urgency of the crisis. How long can this continue before public trust is irreparably damaged? Adding to the complexity are socio-economic issues such as poverty and unemployment, which fuel crime rates. Without addressing these underlying factors, even the most well-intentioned policies risk falling short. How can a leader ensure safety without tackling the root causes of insecurity? In contrast, Captain Ibrahim Traoré has demonstrated that decisive and innovative leadership can turn the tide against insecurity. From the onset, Traoré recognized that fighting crime requires a multifaceted approach. His administration launched rapid response units, drastically cutting down the time it takes to address emergencies. This swift action has not only thwarted numerous criminal activities, but also restored public confidence in the government's ability to protect its citizens. Traoré has also prioritized community involvement in security measures. By fostering trust between local communities and law enforcement, he has created a system where information flows seamlessly. Community members feel empowered to report suspicious activities, knowing their concerns will be addressed promptly. Doesn't this approach underscore the power of collaboration in achieving security goals? Moreover, Traoré's leadership goes beyond policing. Recognizing the role of economic hardships in fueling crime, his administration has invested heavily in youth employment programs. These initiatives provide alternatives to crime, giving young people the opportunity to build sustainable livelihoods. Isn't this a testament to how addressing socio-economic issues can complement security efforts? Understanding the security challenges faced by Kenya and Burkina Faso requires a look into their histories. For Kenya, issues of crime and insecurity are deeply rooted in its urbanization and socio-economic disparities. Nairobi, for instance, has long been a hotspot for organized crime, with slums like Kibera often bearing the brunt of poverty and lawlessness. Historical land injustices and political conflicts have further fueled discontent, creating fertile ground for criminal networks. Doesn't this historical neglect show how long-term issues can snowball into crises? Burkina Faso, on the other hand, has faced a different set of challenges. The country's position in the Sahel region has made it vulnerable to extremist groups exploiting weak borders and poor governance. Prior to Traoré's leadership, terrorist activities surged, displacing millions and crippling the nation's economy. This crisis exposed the limitations of prior governments in addressing not just the symptoms of insecurity, but its root causes. Doesn't this underscore the need for leaders to proactively address underlying vulnerabilities rather than waiting for problems to escalate? By examining these histories, it becomes clear why leadership approaches play a critical role in shaping outcomes. While Kenya's challenges demand a holistic response addressing urban crime and socio-economic disparities, Burkina Faso's issues necessitate a strong focus on counterterrorism and regional collaboration. Could Traoré's strategies offer valuable insights for Kenya's fight against insecurity? The stark differences between Ruto and Traoré's approaches highlight the impact of leadership styles on national security. While Ruto's administration appears mired in bureaucratic inefficiencies and reactionary measures, Traoré's proactive and inclusive strategies have set a new benchmark. The contrast raises critical questions. Why hasn't Kenya adopted similar reforms? Could integrating community-driven approaches and addressing unemployment make a difference in Kenya's fight against crime? Traoré's methods also emphasize the importance of political will. His administration's clear focus on security reforms sends a strong message that protecting citizens is non-negotiable. Isn't it time for Kenya's leadership to adopt a similar stance, putting the safety of its people above all else? Traoré's success offers valuable lessons for the continent. Crime and insecurity are not isolated issues. They ripple through societies, hindering economic growth, disrupting education, and displacing families. By prioritizing security, Traoré is not just safeguarding lives, but also laying the groundwork for sustainable development. Could his approach serve as a blueprint for other African nations grappling with similar challenges? For Kenya, the path forward is clear. Investing in comprehensive security measures, addressing the root causes of crime, and fostering collaboration between communities and security forces are essential steps. Isn't it time for African leaders to learn from one another to build a safer, more prosperous future? Africa stands at a crossroads, and the choices its leaders make today will shape its future. Will President Ruto rise to the occasion and adopt bold reforms like those of Captain Traoré, or will Kenya continue to grapple with rising insecurity? What do you think about Traoré's leadership style? Could his strategies work in Kenya? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the African Web for more insights into Africa's transformative leaders. Together, let's envision a brighter future for our continent.